James, either prior or following the ceremony, the graduation ceremony last weekend, did you see anything that really matters out of any of that?
A little bit. One of the things that did concern me was the drops. Not the contested passes, just some of the wide open drops. But this one I'm gonna go when George gets to talking, I'm gonna go show some exclusive on your channel, Mark, so that people can really understand. Especially, I know you're Miami guys. Everybody else listens to this. I say things I can back up. We ran 12 plays on offense. Like, that's not an exaggeration. That's like it is literally a showcase. Like, Peter Ward, phenomenal, great. I don't think he's even been an offensive coordinator on a high school level. Was the offensive coordinator for the spring game for one side. Travis Minor, who I got a chance to meet, was the offensive coordinator for the other side. Corey Simon was the defensive coordinator. Now, Corey is a pretty good politician in the state of Florida, but he's never called defense before. And Tommy Polley is a coach, but I'm not sure, how well he knows the intricacies of Adam Fuller's defense. So I'm saying this to say, like, people can say that their thing was vanilla. I literally have the offensive playbook for the spring game. It was 12 plays. It wasn't Mike Norvell trying to scheme up anything. So it was basically just seeing guys get out there and run. But I will say, seeing guys like, dang it, I forgot, Edwin Joseph. That was really good to see him. He was making some plays. And you saw plays to be made. I saw some runs. I was impressed with the running game more than I thought, especially when you talk about only having so many plays. For those to be able to pop, that was pretty interesting. So that would be my take, all in all, on it.
Yeah, look, I agree. I agree 100%. The DBs are absolutely filthy on this team. Edwin Joseph was one of those guys that stood out that, like, really made a jump from last year. I agree with James. Like, the lack of kind of separation and things like that, I was fine with it. The kind of drops, the unforced errors and things, yeah, that hurts. I think, and again, that was exaggerated by just how good the DBs played across the board. I think we were talking about possible all ACC selections on this squad and where they might be. DB, I could put one of, all five of those guys could possibly be on one line of those. And when you look at that play sheet that James just put up there, exclusive content right here on the Voice of College Football, those DBs knew those 12 plays. And over half of them were running plays. So there was no scheming guys open like Mike Norvell normally will in these games. And I have, 100% faith if we didn't add another wide receiver that he would scheme these guys open and we would be all right. But like James said, if you're open, you got to catch it. There's no excuse for those drops. And I'm sure we'll get into the portal later, but if there was one thing that stood out, maybe more so than going into the game, I'd really like to be able to look at possibly bringing in a wide receiver one, somebody who's just kind of that guy, as James likes to call, a Jersey guy, somebody who we know what we're going to get come in and play. Looks like the guy out of Penn State is getting crystal balled to Auburn, so I don't know if it's him. I know he's the third best wide receiver in the portal this year, just like Keon Coleman was. But I don't think he's that level of player. So we'll see if that guy's yet to hit or if they pick him up. But outside of that, I was super happy with DJU, kind of how he looked within the offense, where he put the ball. I was super happy with all that. The offensive line is kind of as advertised. It's, kind of reached another level. The defensive line looked great. Linebackers coming along. It was a showcase. It was a glorified scrimmage with 12 plays getting called. It wasn't 300 yards from your quarterback against the scout team like we saw on some other guys, but a high level of football, and I left being rather pleased with it. But definitely some spots you could see, especially like James mentioned, receiver. Maybe you could stand to add somebody out of the portal.
Yeah, the Penn State wide receiver, Keandre Lambert-Smith, he knows his craft. He knows what he's doing. He's not the body type of Keon Coleman. He's not a big physical guy that has he will play in the NFL. I have little doubt there, but he's not the force that Keon Coleman is. the physical type specimen and an impact player to that degree, or at least he hasn't shown that. And I've seen him play quite a bit.